Hello and welcome to the Red Zone Podcast, episode 10, News Armageddon, part 1. This is Elvin.
And I'm JR.
Today we have a lot of topics to cover, but before that, hit that subscribe button. And so, a lot of news came from Wizards of the Coast this past few weeks, and we're going to cover some of them.
Yeah, we're recording a bit later than usual, a few days later than what we usually do, so more news came in. So let's get to it.
Every day seems to have a new news item.
Yeah, it's actually literally every day, right?
Yeah,
this
I think
week?
it's kind of like spoilers. Yep. So there's like there's so many news, but let's start first with one of the news items that came out. One of the earliest news items is actually MTGO hit its 15th anniversary. Magic the Gathering Online is something that I'm not as familiar with as you, JR, but playing it is a very good approximation of the game to the point that it is used by pros to practice and test for tournaments. It's such a useful tool for being able to play large quantities of games.
It's literally just the card game made digital, except for the timer, I guess.
Well, I think besides the timer, I also appreciate the leagues and the capability of.
Yeah, I mean, the timing of when you can play is different, but as far as the game is concerned, it's literally the same thing.
I also enjoy the fact that it teaches you to be a better player because it triggers everything, and you have to modulate that. And so by doing so, you become more aware of how each turn of Magic plays out.
Yeah, that's kind of double-edged. Though I've noticed that people who play online exclusively, who just play on paper, on PPTQs, tend to miss their triggers when they play on paper.
Well, that's true.
If you play a lot of paper Magic and then move online or play online at the same time, then it's good because you're introduced to when the phases actually happened and how everything is stacked and triggered. But again, if you play online exclusively, you'll get used to all the triggers triggering when they're supposed to without you having to trigger them. And yeah, like I said, that exclusively online players do miss those when they play on paper. So just something you need to be aware of if you're mostly playing online.
That's true. It can be a crutch to fall back on. But this isn't a discussion about MTGO. That would be in a different podcast. Maybe we'll have a more in-depth discussion of MTGO. I believe we did a slight talk about it at one of our earlier episodes.
Yeah, we can do an exclusive on it. But for those who are not familiar, essentially MTGO is just Magic, paper Magic on a digital media. Like literally, it's the same game.
It even has the same secondary. It has, well, not the same, but it also has a secondary market, just like the paper.
Like I said, it's literally the same thing, except it's online and the cards are cheaper.
Yeah. Now, this is the 15th anniversary, and when you talk about 15th anniversary, that's a milestone. And the few card games, let alone video games, are continuously, for that long. Mm-hmm. So, Wizards of the Coast came up with a great idea of celebrating this anniversary by bringing out several new improvements and events for online that our listeners would be able to enjoy. The first thing we're going to talk about is like Battle of the Plains, which is a type of Phantom Shield.
Is it a league?
Yeah, it's a league. Yeah, this is to encourage people to be more creative in building and choosing sets and building decks.
Phantom Seal doesn't really have anything to do with how you build a deck because once you choose which plane when you're playing with, you get a specific set of boosters anyway. So the only reason I think, or the only reason they mentioned that they chose to make this Phantom Shield is so that you won't be choosing the more expensive sets. Like for example, you'd be choosing Zendikar. I think,
but
over all of them.
We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. I'm sure everybody knows what sealed is, but for those that don't, it's just making a 40 card deck out of 6 packs. But the thing is, the twist here is the 6 packs all come from specific planes and specific expansions of those planes. So, for example, you have Dominaria, which gives you 6 boosters, a booster of Onslaught, a booster of Legions, a booster of Scourge, a booster of Time Spiral, a booster of Planar Chaos, and a booster of Future Sight. That is a pretty cool mishmash of different sets. And
then, essentially, they tried to give you as much as they could, as much unique sets as they could that play in
same thing with
I initially thought it was only modern legal sets, but I just realized it has Onslaught, Legions, and Scourge. So yeah, it's I guess the planes thing started in Onslaught, really, right? Or was it? I'm not familiar with the older Magic sets, but I think it's like before they just had like a world and they didn't really mention what plane it was in.
Before it was Dominia. Before it was Dominia, which is like the planet, and then they say Dominaria is the plane. Then they transitioned it to Dominaria is just the plane of Dominaria, and after first other planes Phyrexia. So when they differentiated Phyrexia from Dominaria, that's when planes started.
Yeah, so I guess it would be safe to say that the modern planes that we have now started when Onslaught came out, right?
Yeah, it's around that time.
Yeah, okay. So anyway...
I'm surprised that Kamigawa isn't. Is Kamigawa...
Kamigawa is a plane.
So Kamigawa is a set that I wasn't around to experience. It was a time when I was doing something else. Is there some sort of stigma with Kamigawa?
No, I think it's just... no, it's okay. I think it's just that it's a small set. It's like 2 expansions, right?
Is it Betrayers, and then Saviors, and then Champions?
Oh, I guess there's 3, but let me look at the other ones. Yeah, because if they put in Kamigawa, it's just gonna be 2 packs each of the Kamigawa sets, and I guess that's what they're trying not to do.
I see.
Because if you look at the other planes, blocks, or whatever they call it, the least number of expansions you see for each is like 4. I guess they just didn't really want to do just 3, or maybe they just didn't want to make a block that's just gonna play the same as the limited format at that time.
I see.
Yeah, because if you played Kamigawa sealed during the last the last part of the block, then you would be playing with 2 packs each, and it's essentially the same. So I guess that's it.
Well, makes sense. So it allows you to feel what it's like to play in those planes, which is actually a pretty cool thing. Maybe we'll record something like that.
Do you get to only play, like, if you choose a plane, do you get to play against those who chose the same plane, or do you get to play with everyone else?
I believe it's everybody else.
Oh, like everyone?
I think it's still going to be paired randomly for at least for the first match. But doesn't indicate that it's going to be like those.
They did mention though that it's not going to be random. It's not going to be like Gauntlet, because they had Pro Tour gauntlets at one point last year in Magic, where you in MTGO, where you get a random Pro Tour deck and play against the rest, and people didn't really like it because it was random. So I think that's why they're not doing this one random.
I see.
So this one starts June 14 after the downtime, after the standard Wednesday downtime. And it runs for a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, just until
just 1 week.
June 21. Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, so if
so it's already running actually. Apparently.
At the time of the recording, it's already running. So when you guys hear this, start playing, because it's not gonna be here soon. They're not gonna be here for long.
If you haven't started playing MTGO, this would be a good time to start doing that, because aside from this, we're gonna be talking a lot about other stuff that's gonna be on MTGO, which are things that might interest you, or that are worth starting that account for. So let's not discuss how many points you get out of it, because at least for this one, because this is standard Phantom Sealed pricing. You can look it up online if you're an MTGO player. If you're not, then you won't really be that interested, or it might be too complicated to explain, so we'll just skip that part. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, right. So first the planar planar challenge, or sorry, Battle of the Plains.
Oh, we forgot to mention what planes they had.
Oh, yeah. So the planes are Dominaria, Innistrad, Mirrodin, Ravnica, and Zendikar.
Yeah, and I think the reason why they made this Phantom is because sets like Zendikar have a lot more EV compared to the rest, I believe. It might be another one that has it, but I think it's Zendikar which has the best EV. With Zendikar because it has Zendikar, Worldwake, and Rise of the Eldrazi.
I guess, yeah.
Mirrodin has Mirrodin, Darksteel, and Fifth Dawn, I guess. But other than that, that's it.
You favor Reksha?
I mean, I'm not too certain about the EV of those sets, but the ones I'm sure of is at least Mirrodin. Oh, actually, no, it's not even that good because I just have the swords and the Ravager there. But Zendikar has the Zendikar lands, Worldwake has TMS, and etc. Rise of the Eldrazi has the Eldrazi, so Zendikar has way more EV than the rest. At least that's what we're sure of. And if they didn't make it Phantom, then everyone would be playing with Zendikar, and that wouldn't be fun. So yeah, I think Wizards did a good job of making this Phantom. The only bad thing about that, or at least the only thing that's kind of sad about that, is people kind of wanna get value by opening old packs, like what they did with the flashback drafts, and you don't get it for this. So yeah,
can't get everything. Besides the draft, there's also extra prizing that's going to occur. So after the Battle of the Plains, there's going to be extra prizes for a week for Amonkhet draft leagues and constructed leagues. So
is it after? When is it?
June 21st until June 28th.
Okay.
That's when the additional prizes will come out.
Okay, so to not go into too much detail about this, because you could look it up, like I said. Essentially, it's just like an average of one extra booster pack added to each placing, I guess is what.
Or treasure chest.
No, it's all booster packs. Oh yeah, no, sorry. It's for the friendly construction for constructed it's extra treasure chest, for limited it's extra booster pack. That's because standard players value treasure chests and limited players may not play as much standard and like the booster pack, so they can play more limited events, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so essentially they have the same pricing as before, but they added one booster pack to, and not to the whole pool, but like if you get let's make one example. If for the friendly leagues where you get to play up to 7 wins, 7 wins you get your points plus your booster pack. 6 wins you get your points plus your booster pack. Up to 4 wins. So yeah, it's a lot of booster packs added per pool. It's like I think it's 2 to 4 booster packs added per 8 players for the regular 8-player pods, essentially. So yeah, it's a lot of, and remember, this is essentially extra pricing. And I think if you I haven't computed it exactly, but if you compute the total of points given out versus the number of tickets or play points you spend on entry, Wizards makes of course has to make some money. And I think what the extra pricing does is whatever they're supposed to make in these drafts, they add it to the prize pool, so it's like everyone's playing for essentially free, I guess. I mean, if you think of it that way.
Yeah. So the thing is, this segueing to the next part, this one is, I think, what they give for people that are a little more focused on like value, because they either they don't want to spend too much or they don't have enough to spend, so they're making these events more valuable by essentially allowing you to play for free. But they're at the same time, the next event on the 21st, it also starts on June 21st, is the return of a beloved cube, the Vintage Cube. Mm-hmm. It's going to come out until from the 21st until Hour of Devastation.
Which is it?
Yeah, it's from the 21st until Hour of Devastation begins. Well, the events begin online.
Does Hour of Devastation happen earlier online than on paper?
I believe so.
Because I don't think Hour of Devastation comes out July 10 on paper.
Wizard has been making it early. moving up the pipeline for MTGO online for MTGO sets because they find it like a wealth of data.
Yeah, I'm looking it up, and actually, Hour of Devastation does come out. Wait, let me. Yeah. So anyway, before we actually thought that they just released the what was the reset Amonkhet earlier in MTGO because they wanted to get data on what was the card they banned during that time?
That was it Felidar?
Oh yeah, on the Sahili deck. But apparently, yeah, they are apparently making it earlier on for all sets now, I guess. Yeah, because Magic Online launch date is July 10. The actual release date on paper is July 14. So yeah.
Yeah. So for everybody who's not familiar, a cube. Do we still need to explain what a cube is?
Like the shortest way of explaining it, just in case, is that it's a Highlander draft of basically the best cards in Magic. So this is vintage cubes. So this is everything from your Power 9s to your Caracas and everything like that in a 15 card booster draft for 8 players. So the Vintage Cube League is gonna be up and single elimination queues. So yeah, they're there. The only thing with this Vintage Cube and the what's the other one, the Battle for the Plains thing league, is that you don't really get too much value if you're talking about actual value off of it, but it's more of there for you to have fun. Well, you still get to earn money if you do really good, but it would be safe to say that the average player doesn't really get too much value off of it. Maybe you I think you don't even break even is what I'm trying to say if you just play average. So yeah, but they're really fun, they're really good to play, and everyone really likes them.
Well, who doesn't want to play with Power 9s, or any of those legendary cards? It's a really cool format and a great way to draft and practice drafting and identifying cards and all that.
I actually looked at the updated cube list, and it's gonna be very fast this time because they the major changes, they removed the Skylands, which you have to play because they're fixing, and they replaced it with the fast lands because the cycle is now complete. So basically, you have three sets of fixing that come into play untapped, and that's going to be really quick.
Yeah, so it's fast lands from Kaladesh, right?
From the old set and Kaladesh, yeah.
Now, the other updates are more about usability, so we'll just go through them real quick. One would be the full trade list. So there's now an option for Magic Online players to just give their whole trade. Just give out their full trade list. So if it's the entire.
Essentially, this is like you, in real life, or you carry a binder and someone asks if they can see it, and then you hand it to them for them to see it, right?
Yeah, it's more of. Somebody asks you to see your cards, and then you bring out a binder that contains all of the cards that you own.
Yeah, how useful do you think that is? I don't think it's that useful, because I mean,
not really.
People rarely trade in Magic Online anyway.
That's true. I'm sure somebody needed it, and somebody's enjoying it. It's additive anyway, so
yeah, it doesn't really take away from anything,
Yeah, so. Exactly. So don't use it if you don't wanna.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna use it, but yeah, just say.
Yeah, me too. The other thing that they're doing is something that we will not see unless it screws up, which is improved packet handling. So for those that are not technically savvy. Improved packet handling is that the client for MTGO no longer immediately disconnects if notices it's losing a few pack or pieces of information. Essentially, it's good for those people that have not the best internet. So
to kind of explain it in layman's terms, if you're like, when you're watching cable TV and then you kind of get static, what Magic Online does if it gets static is it disconnects you. So now what it gets is you still get you get to still see HBO but you get your static, something like that.
Yeah, and so what would happen before was it would start to get static, then the TV would turn off,
Yeah.
and then you have to
Something
turn
like that.
the
Then
TV
you have
back
to,
on.
So now you just get to watch it with static, I guess. But yeah, it's still better, you know.
Yeah, better than nothing, and better than just restarting your entire app.
Like home entertainment system. Anyway, and one last thing.
Yeah. No, actually, for mtgo, that would be it.
Oh, what was there was
I
like a last part of it? Was just like a sign out thing?
It's just they're announcing that they're going to be increasing the support for more stuff like flashback drafts and cubes and whatnot, and they're gonna be putting prizes.
Did they clarify what they meant by like supporting? Because I see that they said they're gonna support like Commander and Cube more. Did they clarify what they mean?
Well, they're starting to do that with the single player Commander format. And
I get that. I get that for Commander, but for Cube, like, do they just mean they're gonna be doing more cube drafts?
Maybe, but they didn't clarify because I think it's not yet it's set in stone. And they also want to make sure that there's something for people to enjoy in the months ahead. Because we still have half of 2017 in front of us, so we're still at the halfway point, but we still have half a year left in front of us.
Oh yeah, okay. Before we move on, do you know why they call Magic Online Modo?
Why do they call Magic Online Modo?
Initially, I thought it was like, you know how people try to read abbreviations?
Abbreviations, yep.
Yeah, I thought it was like that. Like, it's mtgo, so like it's mtgo.
Okay.
I thought it was that, but it's
okay.
It apparently it is that, but it's because initially Magic Online was not mtgo, it was Magic Online with digital objects, and that's Modo. So it is people trying to read the abbreviation, but it's not ModeGo.
It's not the right abbreviation. It's a different one.
Yeah. So but people usually still refer to it as Magic Online anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the 50th anniversary of Magic Online. So start playing, guys. Try it out. It's really cool. The next piece of news we have is we won't really dwell too much on this because it only affects very few people. But hey, it's something that we would aspire to, right? The Hall of Fame has been changed slightly, where it's much harder now to get onto the ballot, because in the past, any top finish puts your name in the ballot. So now you'll need at least 2 final day finishes to put your name on the ballot for the selection.
Yeah, I don't really see the relevance of that, because the pros who vote to put it mildly, do vote wisely, so I don't see the point of doing this. But yeah, I guess there's like some technicality to it that I don't know why they're doing this, but yeah, whatever.
Anyway, they said that they want to do that because they want to make sure that there's a clearer choice of each voter.
Yeah, because if you talk to people who voting, they actually talk among themselves on who they're voting. So it's not really like people are
blind vote.
Yeah, it's not really like people are guessing like who are gonna vote, and people really pick who they're gonna vote. They're really like, remember when Shota was initially in the ballot, and like people were kind of like, oh yeah, I know he's good, but how many top 8s does he have? He has like 5, and then they're like, he doesn't deserve to be there yet. I mean, even with so much achievements, people kind of think that you don't deserve the ballot yet, or deserve to be nominated yet. So I don't think people were
making it more exclusive would change that.
Yeah, but anyway, that's that. Essentially, it's kind of harder to get in the ballot now, but everything else I believe is the same. Is that correct?
It's essentially the same. But hey, it's news, and we have to say the news. The next thing is the one that's going to be, I guess, going to take a lot of our time here, because Magic head designer Mike Rosewater has brought up Metamorphosis 2.0.
No,
For those,
what did he bring up?
metamorphosis. It's a term that he used last year when talking about the changes that they were going to make
How,
for
how can
the
can
past
he
few
even say that?
months. Metamorphosis.
Can he even say that?
Metamorphosis or something like that, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
that's how his voice is like a bit high pitched and stuff. So
Actually, I'm trying to imagine him saying,
yeah,
Anyway,
that's our first impressions. So lots of things here, but so he's talking about the things that has happened the past year, successes, lessons learned. We can't really go through all of that.
what I think we should do is enumerate the what did they refer to it as, the change, and we'll try to explain, like do it the other way around. We say the change and then we try to explain why they're doing it.
Well, who can ever say what's in the mind of Mike Rosewapper?
Because they actually explain it if you read the whole thing. I mean, we'll just.
Oh, he does explain. I'm just saying that that's what he says, but then what does he really mean? So what we have here is that there are no longer going to be blocks per se.
Just to be clear, so this is the first change.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that there won't be any block sets anymore. Well, there won't be any small sets anymore. So it's no longer going to be one big set, one or two small sets. Well, it was two small sets before, but they chopped it down last year to one.
It's essentially both things happening. So the first thing you mentioned, which is there aren't going to be blocks anymore, and the second thing we mentioned, that there aren't going to be small sets anymore. So essentially, in a year, you still get 4 sets, but they don't belong to any blocks. Like, blocks are essentially just one set now, and you get and the core set is back for whatever reason. I hate the core set.
Well, from a designer standpoint, it makes sense what they say about the core set, where it introduces fixes that allow them to correct things that come up during the different sets, allows them to put in things that they think standard, they think that the environment needs, that it can't be addressed in a particular set.
So essentially, they're saying if they want to reprint Fatal Push, they can do it in the core set.
Exactly, or Inquisition of
Kozilek. Yeah, essentially, yes. Yeah. And to give context to people who are not familiar with what we're saying, some cards can only be reprinted in certain sets. Actually, or cannot be reprinted. Like, for example, something with a revolt mechanic can only be reprinted if they make a set with revolt. Something that refers to someone in particular, like a proper noun like Kozilek, of course, you can't have a Dominaria set and reprint Inquisition of Kozilek, is what we're saying.
Yeah, which is strange. Why Mary's Guile isn't expensive, Inquisition of Kozilek is so expensive, but Mary's Guile, nobody cares about Mary's Guile.
Because no one does. Anyway, so yeah, essentially it's hard to reprint those things. And what the core set does, it gives them the liberty to do whatever they want, like to reprint whatever cards they want.
And the way that they said the core set's going to be is it's going to be half reprint, half new cards and half old cards. So I guess that would mean half cards which come from sets that aren't from the past couple of years, like non-standard, and then half is standard legal. Is that accurate?
Well, not sure what they mean by new cards. If they mean like literally new cards.
Yeah. That's the thing. Are they gonna introduce like
new, but I think it's like literally new cards, and like not like recent reprints.
Reprints.
So anyway, but yeah, did we cover everything in the first change part? Is that is there, or you think there's something that might not be clear to people?
No. Well, essentially, so just a summary: we have 4 sets in a year. 3 are individual sets. 1 is a reprint set. That's pretty straightforward.
And the primary reason for them doing the all large sets is that they notice that people like to drop large sets more, and so they're doing that. And for me, I think it's kind of it makes drafting a little bit harder for people who are into the pro scene, because like with the recent with what we have currently, you have small large set, small set, so you have your like when Hour of Devastation comes out, for example, you already know your Amonkhet cards, so you're gonna know 33% of your pool, and then since the mechanics are normally the same, and since things are you're kind of in rhythm already, once Hour of Devastation comes out, you just evaluate your new cards. It's not gonna be the same format. It's still, there are still gonna be changes. Some bad cards are gonna be good cards, some good cards are gonna be bad cards, but you already have like 3 months of experience with 33% of the cards, so it's good. You just don't have to relearn everything, whereas with what they're doing, where you have a new large set every 3 months, then you totally start from scratch every 3 months.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, because you can have one set that's completely different flavor wise, and they can take these sudden turns in playstyle, because instead of having sets where they have to only diverge a little bit in order to maintain the flavor of the set,
no, and it's not like, and it's not just that. It's not just that the set's gonna be different. It's because in limited, with all large set, you're just gonna be drafting with 3 packs of the large set. It's not gonna be 2 packs of the new set and 1 pack of the previous set. It's always gonna be 3 packs of the current set. So yeah, it's like, it's not just play style. It's gonna be a different format every 3 months for limited.
Okay, yeah, that's sort of what I agree with that. And what do you think the core set will fall into this?
The core set is
every monthly.
The core set is usually also just, you draft 3 packs of the core set,
Just like the other ones. Okay.
Yeah, which is gonna be a really slow format. The core set is normally has weaker cards than any set. Like, it's kind of intro-ish, but it has some good cards, but rarely. So it kind of just fills the gap with like the common and uncommon gap that needs to be filled, like what they mentioned, that it introduces whatever they want to fix in standard. I guess they're kind of thinking that with all the bannings that happened, it could have been because they couldn't fix the sets without the core sets, I guess. But I'm also thinking that
how about this? As a set where you have one pack of each of the 3 sets before it, and 3 core set packs.
What do you mean?
So it's like the best of the year. So at the end of the year, because the end of the year is when the core set comes out, you would have half of your sealed is going to be the core set, and the other half is going to be the 3 sets.
No, they're not doing that. What they're doing is, they specifically mentioned that it's going to be large set drafting.
Okay. Just a thought. Oh, maybe if you want to do that.
That doesn't really make sense, because whenever you mix mechanics, it's never good. Like, if you play chaos drafts, it's fun because it's chaos draft, but it's not really for competitive drafting or limited. Well, you know what I think though? I think they might this might not be primarily the reason, but I think one of the reasons why they're doing large sets for all might have something to do with the financial aspect of the game. Because like I said before, once the small set comes out, you already have experience with the previous set, so you just need to practice a few number of games. Well, you still need to practice a lot if you're a Pro Tour player, but you already have experience with the previous one, so you don't have to cram like 500 drafts before the Pro Tour anymore. Maybe if you're used to doing like 100, maybe 200 drafts before the Pro Tour for the small set, then that's fine. And like 500 maybe this is for people who are really, pro. Like maybe 2 to 500 for large sets. So now it's just gonna be all large sets. So they're gonna be doing a lot of that. So we can't say that it won't have a financial aspect. So
yeah, it's I'm sure that's part of it. Did they mention anything about the way that standard's gonna rotate, or it's still gonna be the same 2-year rotation?
So far they didn't mention a change. So I think it's just gonna be what's it? Every 8 sets. Like every 8 sets they remove 4 or something like that.
Maybe.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah. It's gonna be, I think after this one they're gonna remove four every time four come out, right?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, okay, in 2017.
Yeah, because essentially you get to play with each set for 2 years.
For yep,
right?
Yeah, I see that the change. Okay, and now besides the actual setup, thematically they're also going to be changing the stories, and they're going to sort of not feature Gatewatch too much in the set. There's not going to be 10 Nissas or five different Gideon. I almost said Gerard, and a Planeswalker card of Gerard would be cool, but no, a Gideon.
Yeah. I guess they're just saying that we gotten too much of the Gatewatch recently.
Yeah, I enjoy the Gatewatch, but then what's the story of Dovin Ban or Sahili Rai or those other planeswalkers?
Yeah, that I mean, even with how people are actually thinking that Asyok might actually be in Hour of Devastation, because
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, because they were saying that no one really his origin hasn't really been revealed. And he kind of looks like he's from, like, the armor he's wearing kind of looks like what the warriors in Amonkhet wear, something like that. And because like the Gatewatch thing is good. Like it's like seeing familiar faces. Like every time you're playing Magic, it's these guys going from plane to plane, and having planeswalkers that actually go from plane to plane doing what they do.
Planeswalkers are actually walking the planes.
Yeah.
They're the poster. They're the poster boys, the poster girls. They're the face. But the thing is, we still want the other guys, and so I believe one of the people from Wizards said that they are changing even the way that the stories being brought out. Instead of longer novellas, they're going to be putting out little short stories instead, kind of like what they do on the website. So shorter stories that sort of give you a glimpse into this and sort of fill in the gaps between the sets and the different expansions.
Yeah, essentially, if you're into comics, it's like the difference of having just your regular comic going on forever versus having events in it, and people like events more.
Yeah, events are cool, and crossovers and team ups. So I guess maybe not the Gatewatch, and let's look at the other team, because there's another team of planeswalkers that we haven't heard of ever since they were introduced, and that's like the trio of Ugin. There's Ugin, him, the dragon guy. Ugin, Sarkhanval, Sorin. Sorry.
No, Sorin was in Innistrad.
Well, yeah, but he's like there, but not really. It's like, because it's still about the Gatewatch. In Shadows over Innistrad, it wasn't really about Sorin or Nahiri, because they weren't the bad guys. The bad guys was Emrakul, and they were just like, okay, we're here, goodbye. So there's no drama between Sorin's entire family. His manor, his home was destroyed, and then how does Sorin feel about that? Well, okay. Oh, he had made Avacyn. Yeah. Okay, and then that is like a climax.
Did you actually read the whole thing?
I read.
Everything they had on him.
Yeah, back before we started, I read the fiction, and he's gone after he unmade his angel. He's like, okay, this sucked. Goodbye. My family's gone. Why would I stay here? Good luck with Emrakul. So there's just a point there. It's a lot of different stories that can be told. That lots of characters that I think would shine, and this new method would go a long way in doing so.
Okay, was this also the article where they mentioned masterpieces?
This is actually a very big thing. One of the first videos, I think episode 0, was our podcast on the masterpieces, our commentary on the masterpiece.
Yep.
And we said that their plan was to have masterpiece subsets in every expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And we came to the conclusion, I think back then, that 50 more cards in every set. That's a lot.
No, it wasn't really the 50 more cards in every set that I was concerned about. It's just that, like, how do you think of masterpieces for every set? It's more of the concern, like,
Well, if you have even more so if it's 50 masterpieces. If you have 50 masterpieces,
no, the number is fine. It's just that the actual idea. Like, for example, if you had masterpieces for excellent, what would they be?
well, how about this?
Like swords.
If you have
I guess that's actually good, but yeah.
If you have fewer masterpieces, it would be better. Like if you have like 10 masterpieces. I even thought of like maybe having one masterpiece
Is
per
it 50
color.
cards? Is it 50 masterpieces
like
per set?
25?
No, maybe 25.
Masterpiece.
Or maybe 40. But yeah. I mean,
that's a lot.
It's a lot. But and for me, I mean, I don't really care about the number as much as the fact of having masterpieces in the sets, and because it's kind of weird sometimes. Like like I said, like invocations, it's but ugly. So they're running out of ideas, I guess.
Well, the thing is, I believe that they hit a snag with Amonkhet because with Zendikar, you had lands, which is very clear.
Yep.
Masterpieces will be lands.
Mm-hmm.
In Kaladesh, it's very clear. Masterpieces will be artifacts. Great. Flavorful. Oh, what about Amonkhet?
They should have gone with my suggestion of Sphinxes. But
oh yeah, well, 4 of them or 5?
No, there are a lot, but they all suck. But anyway,
I think there are 5.
Just 5 Sphinx cards?
Yeah.
No, there are a ton more. No, they 5 legal ones. But
I guess there are more than 5, but less than 20.
No, there's definitely more than 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But listeners, like common ones.
List down each and every Sphinx. I dare you. It'll be less than 20.
There shouldn't be more. But anyway.
Yeah. So they said that they introduced such a strange and unusual border, partly because they felt that they were jumping all over the place with the different gods, different types of cards that they're doing. Okay, it's invocations, but there's a creature. It's invocations, but there's a enchantment.
That's what I remember when once we were talking about invocations, and then remember when you mentioned that there's a creature, and I was like, really? It doesn't make sense. Because I was looking at how power and toughness was written, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange and kind of forced, but it's something that they learn and maybe would change. Now we can look forward to maybe fewer masterpieces, or maybe.
But the thing is, masterpieces are always gonna be good for people like me who don't really open packs.
Yeah, well, it's okay for masterpieces brings down the price of rares a lot, so that's really cool for people that just buying cards. But
for people who are actually opening packs, it exponentially raises the risk factor of breaking even or earning from packs, because if you don't open a masterpiece, then you essentially lose money, I guess.
Yeah, actually, I learned that early on. I didn't. When I got back into Magic, the set I bought the most wasn't Kaladesh, which was had masterpieces. I bought more Eldritch Moon than
but the reason for that is because it had an extra rare every 4 packs, which just drove up the value. People forgot to, like, the people who were doing the marketing didn't factor that in, and then they still priced rares like as if you just got one a pack, which you didn't. You get 1.25 a pack, so that's why the EV for those sets were good. But yeah, anyway, that's beside the point. The point is,
yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, but the point is, masterpieces drive down the value of everything else in a set, and that, I guess, is not only bad for the secondary market, but bad for people opening packs as well. So
Yeah, I heard one of the Goldfish podcast. He was like, I didn't want to open packs anymore because I felt bad. I didn't get the only time I'd feel good was when I got a masterpiece. Otherwise, you get a
remember
50
the last
rare.
pack opening we did, where you, not the last one, but the one where you got like the Liliana and the Gideon, was it? And you earn your money, but like, okay, you got your money back, hooray.
But it's not
like, you don't earn money.
But it's not a what's it called? A masterpiece.
Yeah.
So even from an excitement point of view, so I see where he's coming from. But that's not the only piece of news that we have for Mr. Rosewater's Metamorphosis. We also have changes in the R&D team.
But
So,
that's the old news, right? They're just saying
well,
it
there's
again.
some new additions to that.
Okay, since we went through the last the previous one, what are the additions?
I heard Richard Garfield is now part of Play Design.
Where did you hear this from?
That caught your attention. I saw it on a Reddit thread, and
Seriously?
yes. I want to verify that. I didn't have time today, but that's what I heard. Richard Garfield is rumored to be part of part of the play group.
You could probably hear me typing.
The furious typing of yeah.
No, but yeah, I mean, aside from rumors, what's in the article? I mean,
the
what's
one I saw.
new? What's new in Rosewater's post?
In Rosewater's post, it's sort of the same thing that we heard from before, where it would be they gave permanent employment, so they're no longer
No, that was already mentioned before, though. That the Tora and Andrew Bone are now full-time employees. They mentioned that, so I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They even used the same example for Ixalan and eggs. I mean, the set following Ixalan would be eggs. Ixalan was actually ham initially. If you follow the podcast, that's why it's eggs after it.
They're going to have each people focus on a certain play environment.
People will be focusing on sealed. And I mean, in limited, and some will be in standard.
Some will be.
And again, which brings my question again. Like, what were they doing before this? I've always been under the assumption that was what they were doing. I
don't know. But
or were they just naming cards at random and eating pizza? Apparently they did when Sahili and the cat came out.
That cat thing was really a big hit blow. It sort of removed the sort of illusion of infallibility that the R&D team had and said, "Oh, okay."
And the way this news is circulating is bonkers. Like, some people are actually thinking that they fired the old design team and hired a new one, which is of course not true.
They just gave jobs.
They had jobs. That's what. I don't know. No, but yeah, my point is, people thought that
they gave them a
replaced
401k.
Everyone. Yeah, people thought that they replaced everyone, and that people at least got fired, which we're actually not sure if that happened to someone, but I don't think so. I think they just they made more jobs full time, at least. I don't know if they have an opening. I'll be willing to apply.
I think any Magic player.
No, not any Magic player.
Well, most.
We had this conversation before. Like, I wouldn't want to be in the pool that designs cards. I'd be willing to be one of the playtesters, and I assume some people would be the other way around.
Yeah.
So anything else?
Did you find the news? Did you find confirmation
on Richard Garfield? No.
Yeah, I saw it on a Reddit post.
Do you think that he would actually be good designing cards in the current meta, the current set of cards?
Okay. Richard Garfield was on the design team for original Innistrad and original Ravnica.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
that.
He's not going to be a permanent fixture. He's actually going to be on the design team for Return to Dominaria.
Which is when?
That is looking at my picture.
Isn't that an old set?
No, it's going to be like one of the future sets. One of the future sets, because Maro said that it's going to be a visit to every plane. So it's going to be three or four planes every year.
No, it's actually going to be 2 or 3 planes every year.
Oh, really? They move it back. Okay, 2 or 3. Okay.
No, they didn't move it back. They said it's going to be 2 or 3 planes every 4 sets, which doesn't include the core set.
Yeah, and so one of the planes that we're going to be having is Dominaria, and Richard Garfield is going to be on set. Not on set, but on board to help with designing that set too.
You think that's gonna be big news? I think it's just gonna be, okay. I mean, no disrespect to Richard Garfield, who made the game we all, play and love, but having him in the design team is just at this point, to me, I feel it's just like having someone who's great in the design team, but it doesn't really bring like a Richard Garfield feel to the set. Like it won't be.
Well, as I
I
said, the
just
last
think
two sets that he was part of was pretty good sets.
I mean, they were good sets in like in the aspect of them having good cards, like powerful cards. But you know, like people can and they can do the same thing. Like okay, so Richard Garfield is in Dominaria set, like Return to Dominaria, then let's make powerful cards this set, and you know people would think that it's because Richard Garfield is here, but you know, we'll never know. I mean,
We
might
won't
be.
know yet until it comes out. So something.
No,
to look
like,
forward.
even if when it does come out, like you'll never know if it was him who did that, right?
Mhm.
Who made the set great.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see exactly what happens. But yeah, that's the
Like
news that we have.
Ket was is one of the best limited sets in a long time, and like you know, like we don't really credit some guy for doing it. It just so happened that it's a great set. So yeah.
It's a team that also gave us the cat thing. So I see your point. I see what you're trying to say. That it's not reliant on one guy. But hey, it was news. Made us look for it. Made us clarify it. But
Yeah.
but that's
It
not
would
the
have been
only
big
we
news
have.
for me if you know if he actually became a permanent fixture in the design team.
It's possible. I don't know what he's doing nowadays. So why not?
I don't know,
that,
enjoying
you know?
money,
That's true.
enjoying royalties.
I guess just so many expansions of Robo Rally or strange games that he can do. So
I don't even know if Robo Rally is good, but Guillotine was good.
was Guillotine designed by Richard Garfield?
Yeah, and the latest one was Greedy. Was it Greedy Goblins or something else?
Yeah, Greedy Goblins.
Yeah, which was okay, I guess.
Yeah, but so that's the news that we have. But that's not the only news that we have.
Oh, there's more?
news.
I thought we were actually done. Anyway, yeah, go.
No, we're done, but we can't fit it here. We're
okay,
almost
yeah.
an hour long, and our minds
We're
are just
more than
blown
an
by the
hour
awesomeness
long.
of all of them.
We're like
Yeah.
an hour. Yeah. Anyway.
Exactly. So we're gonna end it here, but you look forward. We're gonna have more content for you. Please like, share, subscribe, comment on our YouTube page and on our Facebook. I'm still looking for those 20 Sphinxes. And
Comment on YouTube, not on Facebook.
yeah.
Because.
Comment on okay. Comment on YouTube. Tell me the Sphinxes. I believe they're less than 20. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Do it. You guys that were listening, do it for me because I don't want to Google. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And it's been an episode of the Red Zone Podcast.
Bye.
Bye. Netflix is coming up with a new show, something that's near and dear to my heart because it's a Jim Henson thing. But have you watched the original Dark Crystal with those strange animals?
Wait. The original Dark Crystal is Jim Henson?
Yeah,
Does it have Muppets?
they are all Muppets. Well,
Oh,
they're all Muppets.
I didn't know. I had
Okay. Well, the original.
or maybe
Dark
I
Crystal,
knew about it but didn't know it was Dark Crystal that I was
it's the one
watching.
with the bird people, evil bird people fighting little hamster men and women. Well, I call them hamster. They look just like very docile
I
people.
remember now.
Yeah, and but the Dark Crystal and the sexes. So they're horrifying bird people, which can cause people to be afraid of them. So they're bringing up a new prequel, to the original
Oh, it's a
show.
prequel?
Yeah, it's because the Skeksis were a race of birdmen that removed the good part of them, removed the evil part of them to become this super good plane traveling creatures, and the Skeksis are like the remnants of it, and so this is the story, I guess, of how that happened. That's pretty cool, and all these new old things are new again, and I'm gonna watch it. I think I'm gonna enjoy it.
What was this, 70s?
This is 80s, dude.
I don't know. I remember it, but
This is alright.
because most of what you watched during the 90s were reruns, and you wouldn't know when it originally came out. Like, I was watching Batman, the original Batman series, the Adam West Batman, Rest His Soul, during the 90s. So
Oh sheesh, we're gonna do that? No, that's I know. Anyway, yeah, rest his soul. I love you, Adam West. God, you made me forget about the Dark Crystal. I'm so hyped about it. But anyway, Adam West.
I didn't mean to. I just remembered it because of.
Gosh darn it! What? We could have used some other time to talk about it.
It was the oldest.
It's too late.
It was one of the oldest shows that I was still watching during the 90s. Is why.
God dang it!
Which is why I remembered it.
Yeah. Thanks. My joy for the Dark Crystal has turned into ash in my mouth. Fare thee well, Batman. I'll miss you.